Greenland has chosen war with the United States. Breaking news. Greenland has chosen war with the United States and has selected NATO as its defender. Trump sent a warning to NATO yesterday, stating that if America invades Greenland, NATO must stand back and that any NATO troops on the island would result in war with the United States. Today, the Greenland Prime Minister formally requested protection and rejected all ties with the United States, meaning there will be no negotiations. Trump has made it clear, saying, "We will have Greenland," and has not ruled out the use of military force. The situation now is that if the United States places even one soldier on Greenland, NATO Article 5 could be activated at the request of Denmark, which controls Greenland and is a NATO member. More specifically, France has already chosen its side, stating it will support the Danes, and reports claim plans are being drafted behind closed doors for a NATO defense of Greenland against the United States, potentially led by French nuclear submarines. It is already reported that Trump is more than ready to sacrifice NATO in order to acquire Greenland, leaving one question: who would win, NATO or the United States? Breaking news.
Khan, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakotash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations unto the 144,000. This is Brother Kyle here with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Shai. And this lesson here, as you saw the video just now in the beginning, I'll entitle it, Revelation 17 and 16 is rolling off the page, right? Because let me read it. Let's actually read it, right? Revelation 17:16, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall burn her flesh, Salakia, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Right? I'm going to actually read verse 17 as well. Actually, no, let me expound a little bit first, because the 10 horns is NATO. You understand? The EU and the NATO. Right? When I say which thou sawest upon the beast, that beast is America. Right? So it says, "These shall hate the whore." The whore is also America. You understand? Why does it call America a whore? Because let's actually read the meaning here for the word whore. Right? It says a prostitute. A person who is willing to do anything to get a particular thing. That's what America doing right now. Right? He willing to sacrifice NATO to obtain or acquire Greenland. Right? Now, I like to break it down in the sense too as well, where it is a whore. Also, they spread their philosophies, right? Well, I'm saying philosophies, but that's actually the real meaning behind it. But, their disease, because some of these whores have diseases, right? Or they're willing to do all these things that the meaning say here. They're willing to do all these things just to obtain or acquire, what they want, right? And that's exactly what Babylon doing, right? So the Lord called them a whore. But then in other verses and in the same chapter, Revelation, he calls them a virgin, right? So there's just one way to show how the Lord is really a JK and he's a lyricist. You understand? Because he called them a virgin in one aspect and then a whore in the next. You understand? Because he called them a virgin because they never been touched. America never been invaded and whatnot, right? They've been the strongest military power on the planet. You understand? But what does the Lord say now? I'm actually good at here. This is the book of Obadiah 1 and verse 7. Is it 7? No, not 7. I was gonna get by at least 7, not to read. Yeah, I'm gonna read from 7, that is itself. This verse 8 and 9 I was gonna read, but ready to start from verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Right? Now the NLT says here, all your allies will turn against you. right? Because what he doing right now, if it is you allied with a nation, right, or nations in this case, right, because that is the European countries, right, that is what make up NATO. They allied with you, you understand? But here it is, you threatening them if they get into the war with you obtaining Greenland, you're gonna carry up the tariffs, which I believe he did, you understand, and sanction this person, that person, and start war with this person and that person. It's like everything this devil just showing his horns, right? But here it is, you ally with them, but then it's like it okay, you taking where you want, right? This is why he's fulfilling that prophecy, and this is just to show you that the Lord is the one really in control. You understand? Because you seen it, this was already prophesied. You understand? But let's go on. Let me read it over. Actually, it says, all thy men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. So they bring it to the border. A border represents what? The beginning and the end of something. In this case, it will be the end. You understand? So they're bringing him to the end, right? Because this is what World War III. So ironically, too, is the beginning. You understand? It's going to start World War III. You understand? But we know Iran is that trap regardless, right? So it says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevail against thee, right? The men who were at peace with thee, because right now, the EU and the NATO, as well as other countries that allied with America, or, make a little treaties. Because sometime last year, we were seeing pictures and whatnot with Trump and Putin shaking hands and whatnot. Same thing with the Chinese government. What was his name again? Is Xi Jinping? Yeah. They basically showing the cooperation and whatnot and this and that. Just the other day I saw a video saying with Trump saying he love Russia, he love the people of Russia, he love the people of China, but he not gonna allow them to take I believe it's Greenland self he was talking about, right? Now, this is the thing. It say what? The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevail against thee. So them trick he into thinking, we cool with you, we not going to jump you or anything like that. They deceive you and then they prevail against him. You need to say they win against you, right? Because it's a strategic move they're using. It says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, there is none understanding in him. You understand? So the one who eat your bread, the people who, it's like how Jake like to say, your closest friends thing, they just come around for the food and then they set you up, this, that. In an instance, it's the same thing, right? They eat your bread, like they're ripping off of you, like they're moving cool with you, whatever it is, but they lay a trap for you. You understand? And they say I'm not understanding as the NLTC and you won't even know about it, right? That trap, you understand? Where you feel that trap is again Iran. You understand? Iran. Because when America, right, did assist Israel with military power against Iran, no other nation didn't intervene. You understand? So when he ready back for Iran now, these other nations gonna be ready for him, and he gonna fall into that trap. Verse 8 says, I shall not in that time, shall I not in that day, say the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Right? May be cut off by slaughter. That is actually where the 34 says I was looking for, boy. Let's see here. I say that Jeremiah. But that is good still. The Jeremiah 49:7 to the point it says concerning Edom, thus say the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Right? So the Lord make that spirit to come upon them where it is they no more, well, I wouldn't say wise, because the scripture say knowledge of this world is not wisdom, right? But all the smart, they smart, and the things they feel they know. You understand? The Lord taking that away from them, it transfigurating, right? It coming to us on the right hand side, as just as the scripture say in the book of Sirach 10, I believe on verse 8, where it says, because of unrighteous dealings and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, right? So it translated from Esau, Edom to us, and we know as the scripture say the kingdom starts within us. So with that starting within us, it starts with the knowledge first. You understand? Because remember, once upon a time, the scripture say that thou art wiser than Daniel, right? And Daniel was a wise prophet. You understand? He was a very wise man. And the Lord said that they surpassed Daniel. You understand? Because the heart is deep, right? They do a diligent search out all these things, So that is just to show you, but now the Lord taking away that from them, So all these moves that Trump making is what really gonna set him up. You understand? It's gonna set him up for destruction. He's gonna fall. And that is spirit. Let me get this. Pride goat. Yeah. This is is that boy? Yeah, Proverbs 16:18. It says, pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. Right? Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Right? So the pride goeth before destruction. So right now, all the prideful that Trump prideful. You understand? He just setting himself up for destruction because you're clouding your own judgment. You understand? You're clouding your own judgment. You feel like you're so up there that nobody can touch you, nobody can do nothing. But the Lord done put his spirit upon Russia, right? Well, Putin, right? Xi Jinping for China and whatnot, to create the nukes. I believe South Korea and North Korea making their own nuclear as well, But they're fulfilling Joel 3 as well. But the scripture say let the weak say I'm strong. You understand? Even Ezekiel 38, I'm roughly paraphrasing where it says, arm them up as how you gonna arm yourself. So Russia giving some of these smaller countries, as who the scriptures refer to as the weak saying that they're strong, they arming up as well. So when it is they launch nukes in America till it as IUIC like to say, is this all you got? Nah, my height 200 million missiles. You understand? America gonna look? Boy, that is madness. That is madness. I don't know what these men preaching, but hey, at the end of the day, every man understanding their own lot. To what I am bashing your shy, myself, and the sincere Akim who in this truth. Even the ones who listening sincerely, right? The ones who now coming, the one who been for a while and watching this, we are the say to what I am bashing your shy that we in this truth, we in the correct camp. You understand? And not bugging out of them bullshit that these other camps teaching and all prideful. Because as the video I did this morning, talking about the end time, right? It's inevitable, right? I brought up Micah 2:10. Here is now we rest. Here is not our rest. So we don't need to relax and get laid back. These prophecies rolling out right off the page, right before our eyes. You understand? And we seeing it, you know. So yeah, this isn't meant to be no long video, but just keep watching, you know. Watching and you will see prophecies rolling off the page. So I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Till next time, I say shalom.